Hey, Royal Family, it's Cash Me Out. I am Queen Supreme, and I am back at you again with another video. Maleah's mother decided to kind of speak with reporters, and also there are a few other things that I noticed that I want to call to everybody's attention. I want to document that I'm not saying that definitely without a doubt these parents or whatever hurt this little girl. However, when a story is presented to you and there are several things wrong with the story, you have to then look at the story. So let's take a look at what the mother had spoke to the reporters about earlier today. Let's go.
I don't want to do any questions. Not right now. I just want to let everybody know about the flyer. Is that okay? My name is Brittany Bowens, and it's spelled Brittany. My last name is Bowens, Bowens. I'm Maleah's mother. This is the flyers that we're passing out right now down here in City Hall in Sugarland. If anybody wants to come out and join and support us, I would greatly appreciate that. I just want to find Maleah. I just want to find Maleah. And I love her so much. I love her so much. If there's anybody that can help me, please. I just want to find my baby. I just want to find her. Help me find her, please. Help me find her. Anything helps. Share a post, share the flyer, anything. Anything helps and is greatly appreciated. And I mean that from my heart. I mean that with every bit of me. Maleah is a sweet girl. She loves to dance. She's always happy. She's very helpful. You know? She's full of life. She has a beautiful spirit. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this. I can't. I'm too over. I'm overwhelmed.
Now, if this mother had nothing to do with her daughter's disappearance, which allegedly she was in Massachusetts at the time, then I sympathize with her. But something that she did actually stuck out to me after I dropped my last video. And basically, it's what she did when she came back from the airport and she was stuck at the airport because her alleged husband and children were not there, and she needed a family member to come and pick her up. Now let's look at what the police said she did in that instance.
2019.
Did the mother was supposed to be getting picked up from the airport on Friday and they never showed up. Did she ever report them missing because she didn't hear from them?
She did not. She did not.
Who picked her up?
She got a family member to pick her up.
Now this seriously bothers me about the mother, because how are you not going to, after your family doesn't pick you up from the airport? Clearly she went home. Her friend or family or whatever brought her home, and she discovered that they weren't there either. Then that would lead me to believe that she possibly called his cell phone, called family and friends, or did she? Why wouldn't she be concerned in her daughter who is going through all these brain surgeries? But in that clip right there, she's crying and all that. And I also have a question. Right now, while we looking for this little girl and all that, is she hugged up with her man, or is her daughter the first thing on her mind? Now, I'm not saying that, she should have immediately jumped to calling the authorities, but, after exhausting all these resources of trying to get a hold of your family, which we don't know how long she's been out of town and how long it's been since she's seen them, and allegedly her daughter has all these brain surgeries going on, I as a mother would be concerned about my not only daughter, but the rest of my family. At some point in time, she should have reported this to authorities. Why was Darian Vance, the alleged stepdad, the only one to report it to authorities after, quote unquote, being unconscious for roughly off and on 24 hours? It doesn't sit well with me. You know what I'm saying? As parents, we have to, take responsibility for our children and our loved ones. And I'm telling you, if I couldn't get a hold of my family and that was my situation with my child going through those surgeries like that, which is rough, period. But the first thing on my mind would have been my child. I would have reported it. I mean, right, not like 5 seconds later or whatever, but within a given time. At least a couple of missed calls. I'm calling people, nobody's seen him. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. At some point, we have to question the mother here on that. Now, I get it why she wouldn't want to answer extensive questions at this moment, but we're talking about your child who is a little girl, like she can't fend for herself. She's missing allegedly. All this stuff happened to your quote unquote husband, and I'm calling it that because it's not fact if they're even married yet. And we see in society people be like, my hubby this and my hubby that. And this is a very vital time when a child is missing or abducted, kidnapped, whatever. It is very important that you move fast because things happen fast. And I feel like she's not really being as truthful with the police if they don't even know that she's married and all that. If they gotta go and look into it. And there's a couple of other things that I saw in reports that they were really unsure about, but it was kind of petty. I just questioned the whole thing. Now, allegedly, her name is Brittany Owens, and on Facebook, her name is Autumn Vance. And on Facebook, Darian Vance is Slim Vance. And, it's easy to make a Facebook account and, not have your actual name. You don't have to use your government name. It's only when you start gaining a lot of traffic or you're posting things that Facebook doesn't like that they really start to hone in on it unless somebody reports your account. So, you know, that is suspicious to me too. And earlier I had stated, what's more important right now, her daughter or her quote unquote husband? But the reason why I say that is because looking through her Facebook, she has no pictures of her and her daughter. None. She got pictures with her quote unquote husband, but I did not see one picture of her, not only in a picture with her daughter, but in a picture with her kids. He was in the picture with the kids, but not her. Now, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. If anything, she could feel, you know, it could be a great relationship. There could be turmoil. There could be abuse behind the scenes. She could also be one of those women that sits on the couch and allows the quote unquote male of the house to do whatever he wants to her and her children. So I think that is something going forward to look at, because I question those things. As a mom, like, what? You're not gonna, I don't even know, I'm not gonna judge her. You know, it may have had something to do with school, or, you know, something that was important, you know, family related or something, to where she had to go to Massachusetts. But we don't even have the reason why she was in Massachusetts yet, I believe. So, and she doesn't want to answer questions. You know what I mean? And at this time, your daughter is in limbo. We don't know where she is. Allegedly, 3 Hispanics came and stole her, and you're not trying to help. And that, to me, screams that she knows something. I'm not saying that she had something to do with it, because as you guys may know, that police will do, you know, allegedly investigations, so those plane tickets can be traceable to even find out if she boarded the plane, etc. So that's my take on her. Now I would like to get into Darian Vance and a little couple of things that I had also compiled that stuck out to me after my last video. And you guys know this is so unlike me to just go back to back to back, but this story is bothering me, y'all, for real, for real. So let's get back into it.
Maleah looks very nice, looks very sweet. The other male hits Darian in the head. Darian loses consciousness. Darian is able to wake up during a period of time, and he is in the back of their truck, in the back of that blue truck.
I want to interject really quick, because some of the articles made it seem like, or it was stated in there, that the Hispanics, the 3 Hispanic males that allegedly stole her, called her Maleah. So I have a question. Did they reference her by name, or was it, you know, that they were in the reports referring to, that they were talking to Maleah, saying those things, saying that she looked sweet, or whatever the perverted statements that allegedly were made? We need clarification on that, because I would question how these people just knew Maleah. And you want me to believe that, you know, these people were just out driving around on a Friday night, had nothing else better to do than kidnap a kid? I mean, I know that there's kidnapping things out there, but I'm interested in the motive here. Was it the child, or was it the car? But let's get back into it.
He says at that point that he's in there with Maleah and his own son Cortland in the back of the truck, and there's 3 other Hispanic male suspects in the truck, and they're driving him around. Darian, so as you see, Darian loses consciousness. He's in and out of consciousness. He really doesn't know where he is until 6 p.m. on Saturday, when he sort of comes to, now on Highway 6. He wakes up. He has his son, his 1-year-old son Cortland, with him. He begins walking around. He tries to summon help. Nobody's really helping him. He goes to Methodist Hospital in Sugar Land where he seeks treatment for his injuries. He has the 1-year-old with him, or his 2-year-old son Cortland with him. Maleah has been missing ever since. We were able to look at the license plate of the vehicle that he had been in, which belongs to the child's mother, Brittany, and it is seen driving through an intersection in Sugar Land, Texas, at around 2:54 p.m. on Saturday.
Again, were they after the car or the girl? You see what I'm saying? It's very suspect, or hot, I should say, and not in a good way, to steal a car and then drive it around, especially on main roads, knowing that most main cities, or cities period, even little towns now, have cameras on their roads. That's just weird to me. And again, I would state that if they were in the business of just snatching kids, then that 1-year-old or 2-year-old, because now the brother's age is changing. He's 1 in some reports and 2 in others, but whatever. And that's what make me question this whole story. But basically, look, I ain't never stole a kid or nothing like that, but if you're going for the 5-year-old, and there's 3 males there, why couldn't they just, you know what I mean? Like, it would be so easy to have just grabbed the kid. Again, what was the point of putting the stepdad in the truck? Like, that makes no sense at all. Like, that's not even how normally things happen. They could have easily just knocked him out, left him there, and then, you know what I'm saying? That whole situation. But allegedly, this man was in and out of consciousness for 24 hours. Mind you, he has a 2 or 1-year-old baby there. And I question, what was this kid eating during this time? Who was changing his diaper? You know what I mean? So he was just defecating and urinating on himself. And in and out of consciousness. Did he change the diaper? Did he try to do anything? Basically, I'm questioning that because it's weird to me that he was in and out of consciousness, but he couldn't keep consciousness enough to attempt to call the police. Did this man have a cell phone? 98% of America has cell phones of some sort. You see what I'm saying? And all cell phones call 911 in emergency. So if he didn't have minutes or his phone bill wasn't paid, I ain't trying to hear that. Allegedly, his body just sat there really close to a busy intersection. Now, you saw that intersection in the beginning of the clip, or in the front of this video, and it's pretty busy. And I doubt that people were just driving past him, seeing a baby and a man laid out and had nothing to say. But mind you, after, being unconscious off and on for 24 hours, allegedly he then got up and walked a 4-hour walk, because the hospital on walking was 4 hours away. So he walked to a hospital, mind you, holding a child. And I highly doubt that he stopped and asked everybody allegedly on the way, because, you know what I mean? At some point, after a few people, you would just kind of give up. You know what I mean? Your pride, or your frustration, your warrior would come out. Even if you're really not a warrior, you gonna make it through. But instead of being able to even call or get any help, there's no businesses on the way there. There's no gas stations. There's no houses. You could have knocked on somebody's door. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not buying that nobody was trying to help him. And in that situation, I feel like he possibly may have asked a couple of people if his story is true, and they shot him down, and so he just said forget it. But again, now he's well enough to walk 4 hours holding a baby. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense.
When did Mr. Vince report Maleah missing? Because he got up Saturday night around 6 p.m., walked to the hospital, got there, and then what?
He gets to Sugarland Hospital later that evening around 10, 11 o'clock at night. He gets to Methodist Hospital. And then he reports that Maleah is missing at that time.
Again, child abductions are time sensitive. It only takes a couple of minutes for a car to enter one freeway and exit on another. Next thing you know, they're in a whole nother state or ducked off somewhere. And next thing you know, like, you know, bad things, you know what I mean? But not only did he wait 24 hours to, you know, report her missing, mind you, it took him 24 hours to allegedly come to back into consciousness, and the whole time he has a 1 or 2 year-old baby sitting right next to him, waiting on him to get up and function. But then after coming to, he then decides to walk 4 hours to the hospital without trying to stop, looking for a payphone, like anything, you know what I'm saying? But allegedly he was trying to get help. So essentially, he didn't report that she was gone until 28 hours after she had disappeared. Now, this child could be anywhere at this point. Even a couple of hours, like I said, time is of the essence when you're dealing with you know, an abducted child. Last, before I get out of your hair, royal family, is this truck situation. Now, I want to talk about the truck because it is important in this case. And we definitely have the license plate number to the Altima, which was the car that the guy was driving. Vince, the stepdad, was driving at the time that all this occurred. And but there's no documentation of the truck. All we have to go off of is a picture that the police use as reference, as they often do, to show the make and the model of a car. That is actually normal. They normally do that. Oftentimes they don't have the actual physical car unless the suspect has already been apprehended. But let's get into what bothered me about this truck situation.
Maleah, her younger brother, and stepdad were heading to Bush Airport Friday night from Greens Road and 59 to pick up Maleah's mom. Stepdad told police he stopped the silver Nissan he was driving to check on a noise when he says 3 Hispanic men in a blue 2010 Chevy pickup hit him over the head. Police say the last thing he remembers is waking up 21 hours later by Highway 6 and 59 in Sugarland. The men and Maleah were gone.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I would say this. If anybody knows of any Hispanic males in similar trucks who have committed violent crimes, we want to hear about it.
Now, as stated several times in the case, the truck, right? The truck, nobody has the license plate for the truck or anything. But let's also remember that the truck is blue, like Pepsi blue. You see what I'm saying? So normally in these situations, the police or detectives would do a process of elimination using DMV records. And actually, if they were doing good police work, they would go out and contact each and every owner of a Pepsi blue Chevy with that make and model and approximate years. I've seen it done several times. And I'm wondering if, you know, Vince had let the police know of any identifying details of the truck. Sometimes people will alter their truck or whatever. But, you know, there's no mention of that. Again, the process of elimination when dealing with this situation could take time, however, but that is exactly what they do. So I'm kind of alarmed that he would say, if you know of any Mexicans that or Hispanics, that are known for getting in trouble. Like, just because somebody got in trouble doesn't mean that they would go and snatch a child. Your best move is to track down every Pepsi Blue Chevy of that make and model of, the certain year brackets. I would go 5 years before, maybe, or 5 years after, like, you know what I mean? To try to narrow this down and figure it out, because somebody owned that truck. And if it wasn't the owner of the truck that was there, like maybe the truck was stolen or whatever, that knowing that information could help with their investigation. I don't know, I'm just wondering all of these things. Again, here's another case with a whole bunch of weird or off the wall actions or situations involved in it, and it's weird. So that's my take on it this far. Haven't really heard much else, but hopefully they find her, and it's not in a bad way they find her. But in these situations, like I said, moving as fast as you can, waiting 28 hours, or the mother, she dropped the ball as well. As soon as you touch down and you didn't know, like I'd say within a couple of hours maybe, because nobody anticipates their child getting snatched up, kidnapped. So, but within a couple of hours, come on now. I don't like to deal with the police, but you got to do what's right. And we're talking about a child that has had several brain surgeries, and it's alarming that the mother was so emotional during that news, where she was talking to the news, the interview, but wasn't really acting at the time. And that's alarming to me, because I'm a mother and I would have definitely acted. It kind of says to me that she knows more of the story. Maybe she knows it because when she touched down and actually, found her quote unquote husband, he filled her in on some information that he possibly didn't tell the police. Or she knows more about his character and is trying to hide that. Something is off with the mom, and I'm not trying to bully or harass her in any way, shape, or form. I just want to get to the bottom. I want this woman to find her daughter. And if she's not involved, and if he's not involved, I would make a public apology. But it's not sitting right with me, Royal Family. And again, I'm not accusing anybody, the parents in this case or whatever, but I've worked on too many cases to kind of just, take everything as face value. You know what I'm saying? And with that said, Royal Family, I'm going to get out of your hair. Much love. Stay you, stay royal, stay uncompromisable, and stay woke. But make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. Make sure that you also hit that bell so you can be notified of any time I put out any content, so you can be one of the first people to view it. Much love. See you in my next video.